Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit. Very glad that you're joining me this evening for part 4 of our series, Modern Chod Practice for the West. And we're going to be focusing on using this meditation to explore the psychological aspects of a physical symptom. I'd like to start out with a couple of announcements. Okay. So we're going to be starting a new series on Tuesday. And okay. So my upcoming book, Kali Meditation, Book 4, is being finished right now. I'm putting in illustrations at this point. Book 4 is Daily Practices from the Lineage of Kriya Yoga. And so I'm going to be sharing practices from that book. And it's also going to give me an opportunity to include a YouTube URL with each of the practices in the book that readers can then click onto and have a guide for that meditation or practice. Next Friday, we'll be doing a fire puja to the 12 Kalis of the Krama lineage. This will be include a recitation of the entire Krama stotram. So we're going to be honoring all 12 goddesses that we have in this series. So it brings us to our monthly legal disclaimer, and namaste, Bryce, and anyone else tuning in. So this presentation is for educational purposes only. It does not claim to diagnose, prevent, or cure any disease or disorder. The advice and methods of this presentation should not be construed as financial, medical, or psychological advice or treatment. Please seek advice from a professional if you have serious financial, medical, or psychological issues. And if a CHA session doesn't feel right to you, please do not perform it. This meditation contains imagery that some may find disturbing. Discretion is advised. And by watching and or participating in this presentation, you understand that results are not guaranteed. Yamajit, John Hollinsby Mayer, Tridevi Chamunda Mandir, and YouTube cannot accept any responsibility for any injuries or damages incurred from the practices and meditations contained in this video. So once again, welcome to the 4th monthly installment of Modern Chod Practice for the West. As I've mentioned before, and Deborah, namaste. So glad that you're joining me. So Cha is a traditional meditation practice within Tibetan Buddhism. Cha means to cut or to sever, and that's in the context of cutting and severing the ego. This practice allows one to release oneself from the negative effects of ego attachments. Culturally, we're conditioned to fear, fight, or repress the shadow side of our psyche. In this guided meditation practice, the participant transforms the shadow by symbolically feeding it his or her body. And in doing so, the shadow becomes transformed into the true self. Practices shared in this series are modern adaptations of the traditional practice and are inspired by the writings of Lama Tsoltramalion, Baal Kedman, Daniel Odier, and the American psychologist Eugene Gendlin. Different variations will be shared each month. In this practice, inner issues such as insecurities, anxieties, unhealthy patterns, and depression are personified as inner demons. And we can also use this practice to help us to understand and work with any psychological issues behind some physical condition or symptom. And this will be the theme of tonight's practice. Cha practice dates back to Tibet in the 11th century and was developed by the female guru Machig Lobdron. and has been adapted through the centuries by many others. Something else interesting about Chod practice itself, it is the first uniquely Tibetan practice. Prior to Machig and her work, uh, Buddhist practices in Tibet um, originated in India. I've been doing variations of this practice for the last several months and have found it very effective. Most recently, I've also been learning a traditional Cha practice dedicated to Vajrayogini, the personification of female Buddhahood. And I'll be slowly adding some related aspects to this practice into the monthly meditations. I've actually started to do that already. Next month, I am actually going to share a traditional Cha practice dedicated to the dark goddess Troma Nagmo, whose statue is in the center of our altar. And this is Vajrayogini in her most wrathful form. So in modern Cha practice, we think of something disharmonious in our life, and in meditations, we locate that issue where it resides in our physical body, maybe an area of physical tension, or we can then we imagine the issue as a living being and notice its details. It could be human or in mythical form. We ask its name, what it wants, what it needs from us, and how it would feel once it received what it needed. Then we listen carefully for its answers. In this practice, we then offer ourselves to the demon. It can involve imagining our body dissolving into a sweet nectar, which the demon consumes to its complete satisfaction. This was the original practice I shared in part 1 of this series. In other forms, we observe the demon eating our physical body. This was the variation of part 2 of our series. Or we can envision dismembering our own body and offering pieces to the demon to consume. And as part of the visualization, it involves the use of a sky burial blade, also called a kartika. So, in our meditation, when I say that in your hand appears a curved hooked blade, this is the instrument that I'm referring to. So this was the theme of part 3's practice. Tonight we're actually going to repeat the procedure in part 3. But if you feel more comfortable with the nectar form of the offering, you're welcome to use that imagery in place of self dismemberment. So I mentioned this month's practice will be almost the same as last month's, but we're going to focus on some physical symptom, condition, or ailment. Personify that as an inner demon, dialogue with it, and then sacrifice our body to it. I've been doing this practice, this particular variation, a few times over this last month. Some of you may know I have a pretty ongoing issue with arthritis in my knees, especially my right knee. And I did this practice for my right knee about 3 weeks ago. And was it a cure? No, I still have an arthritic knee, but the pain has just greatly diminished, as well as the stiffness. The physical symptoms themselves are just a fraction of what they were prior to that meditation. Additionally, I've been having some issues with shoulder pain. Did this practice a week ago, and ultimately took some visits to the chiropractor and to my MD to really remedy the pain. But doing this practice around it really helped with an emotional component behind it. Previously, I had 2 chiropractic adjustments, after which there was just a lot of emotional stuff coming up with that. After the third adjustment, I wasn't having this emotional, really these major feelings of sadness that were coming up. So in Cha, it's important to note that when we're making these offerings, we're not offering our literal body, but instead we're offering the idea of our body. And this can include the idea of everything else that we value and identify with. So our talents, the roles we play, our livelihood, our possessions, wealth, etc. After the demon has eaten his or her fill, we then observe how the demon will be transformed into something else as a result of the feeding. And then we will integrate the transformed being into our psyche. The demon may transform into a being who's an ally, or something of a more symbolic nature, maybe something like a gemstone, or some kind of talisman, or an animal. Those are just some examples. We then integrate this transformed energy into our being. And at that point, it's very important to be aware of changes that we feel physically and emotionally during that integration. So try to take note, is there some kind of a physical release, a release of emotions, feelings of warmth, increased relaxation? And to refer to the American psychologist Eugene Gendlin, who did outcome research in psychotherapy techniques for over 30 years at the University of Chicago. He discovered that those therapeutic practices which involve some kind of change in the felt sense, those left the longest lasting effects. Those made the longest lasting changes in a person's processing. And then to conclude the practice, we'll then spend some time just relaxing in a place of stillness and silence and allowing ourselves to fully integrate the practice into our being. Traditional Cha involves a guided visualization chant which is spoken or sung in Tibetan or English and accompanied by the playing of a drum. We're going to use this traditional Tibetan temple drum, bell. This is a favorite one I like to use. And we're also going to use a kangling or thigh bone trumpet as part of our meditation. So this practice was first adapted for modern use by the Western Lama Sultram Alion of Tara Mandala Center in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. I highly recommend that you read her book, Feeding Your Demons, and part of her guided meditate, and also take part in her guided meditations, which you can find on YouTube. Another Western writer, Baal Kedman, shares another adaptation of this practice in his book, Cho Mystery, Cho Practice Demystified, and I highly recommend reading this book as well. So, Jai Ma, we're going to begin with a short opening puja, and then we're going to go into the practice itself. I'm going to move so that you can see our altar. Image of the goddess Tramanagma. I actually have a more traditional Tibetan Buddhist style altar set up. So there's 7 different offerings. Part of our food offering is in a kapala or skull bowl as well. And again, welcome and namaste. So I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. Take some deep breaths. Clear your mind and prepare for this work that we're about to do. This will be a practice of devotion, but also a practice of self-exploration and discovery, a practice of healing, and a practice of balancing. So I invite you to bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. We're going to begin our practice by chanting 3 one-syllable mantras that are used very often with this practice. Om, Ah, Hum. So inhale Om. Inhale Ah. Inhale Inhale and exhale. Slowly open your eyes. Mahaguru Dakini Sapadavada Agyam Praticha Om Sva. So we offer water for drinking. Om Mahaguru Deva Dakini Sapadavada Padyam Praticha Om Sva. We offer water for washing. Om Mahaguru Devadakini Saparavara Pushpe Praticha Om Sva. Om Guru Devadakini Saparavara Dope Praticha Om Sva. We offer incense. Om Mahaguru Devadakini Saparavara Aloke Praticha Om Sva. Light. Om Mahaguru Devadakini Saparavara Gande Praticha Om Svaha. For perfume. Om Mahaguru Devadakini Sapadavara Navidye Praticha Om Svaha. Food. Om Mahaguru Devadakini Sapadavara Shabda Praticha Om Svaha. We offer music. So I invite you now to close your eyes. Seated in a comfortable position where your back is straight, maybe rolling the shoulders back to open the chest. You can be sitting on your mat, on a cushion, straight back chair. You can also do this meditation lying on your yoga mat in Shavasana as well. So breathe deeply. Again, clear the mind. And let the sound of the drum, bell, and thigh bone trumpet guide you into a state of relaxation. I invite you now to silently declare the intention, the sankalpa for this practice. We declare that we are doing this practice for the benefit of all sentient beings and the harm of none. We'll begin by taking 12 deep and clearing breaths. For the first 3 breaths, breathe in and imagine the breath traveling to any physical tension in the body, and then release this tension with the exhalation. For the second 3 breaths, inhale into any areas of emotional tension like sadness or anxiety, and just feel where you hold it and release it with the exhalation. For the third 3 breaths, breathe into any mental tension. As you breathe, feel where you hold things like nervousness or worries or mental blockages, and again release them with the exhalation. Now, for the final 3 breaths, we will release tensions that reside on a spiritual level, and these can include any self doubts that you may have or concerns that you're somehow not doing this meditation correctly. What you'll experience tonight is all your own, and there's no need. There's no need to worry. There's no right or wrong way to experience this practice. So I invite you to sit comfortably in a position with a straight back. Or you can lay down in Shavasana. Make any adjustments you might need so that you can remain still for the next several minutes. So I invite you now to direct your breath and your attention to some physical condition or physical symptom. It can be something you're experiencing at the moment, like a cold or flu, a sudden ache or pain, or some past injury. And it could be also something more chronic or ongoing in nature. Whatever it is, just think about it. Don't try to overthink or force anything. Just focus on the first thing that comes to you. This will be the best issue to focus on at this moment. So bring your breath and attention to the area of your physical body where this physical issue resides. Breathe into that area and just give it your full attention. And now I invite you to begin to visualize what this issue would look like. Don't control it. Just watch it and observe it. And then begin to visualize this sensation as a living being and see it facing you. If an inanimate object appears, imagine what it would look like if it were personified as some kind of living being. It could be in a human form or in the form of an animal. It could also be in a more mythical form, with both human and animal characteristics. So what color is this demon? What skin surface does it have? Smooth, rough, hairy, scaly, feathers? What gender is this demon? How big or small is it? What is its character or its emotional state? Notice its eyes. What sounds is it making? And then take a moment and try to notice something else about the demon that you haven't noticed before. Now say to the demon, please do not be afraid. Please come to me. I have what you desire. And then ask, what is your name? And listen to its response. And then ask, please tell me what you want from me. What can I do for you? And listen. Watch for its response. And then ask, please tell me what it is that you need from me. And listen and watch its response. And then finally ask, how will you feel once you receive it? And again, listen to its response. Watch its actions. And now breathe deeply and envision that your own corpse is laying before you, lying in front of you, between you and the demon. And observe that your lifeless body has the qualities of the feeling that the demon would have once its need was satisfied. So what color is your body? Does it seem heavy or light? What other quality or qualities do you notice? And now observe that between your corpse and the demon is an altar made from a flat stone and supported by 3 human skulls. A curved and hooked chopping blade, a kartika, now appears in your hand. You kneel down and you use the blade to slice off the top of your head to fashion a kapala, a skull cup, into which you drain your blood. And then with the blade, you slice off your arms and your legs. And place the 4 limbs on each of the 4 sides of the altar. Your trunk is then placed in the center of the altar. And on the top, you place the blood-filled skull cup. And now watch your demon feed upon your body until it is completely satisfied. When finished, no pieces of your body will remain, not even the smallest drop of blood. Whatever you wish for, outer flesh, inner organs, skin, fat, and bones, we offer to the assemblies of all demons of appearance and existence. Eat, drink, be merry, and rejoice. If we are attached to our bodily forms and aggregates, we are weak. Leave nothing behind, you beings of appearance and existence. Please take it, eat of it completely. Free us from our samsaric body of self-clinging. May we be freed from dualistic appearances, karma, afflictions, and death. Realize the intention of the great mother of Dharmakaya, the supreme and divine expanse. Be freed from death and destruction, of harm and harm doers in the realm of spirit. Look at the true vast equanimity of primordially pure self-awareness. So now that all of you has been consumed, begin to observe how the demon changes in form. Is there a change in color, a change in shape, a change in size? Does the demon wither away, leaving something else? Does it change into an object of some kind? Does it change into another being? Just relax, observe, and honor these changes. And now, once you see this new form, allow yourself to merge with it. It will be at this point you will feel a physical or emotional shift. Just let yourself welcome and be aware of this change within yourself and honor it. And now allow yourself to rest in the present state. Once the transformed energy merges with you, let yourself dissolve into a state of emptiness. For the next few minutes, let your mind relax without creating any particular experience. Just rest without filling the space, not trying to make anything happen or rushing to finish. Just rest in stillness and in silence, and just be in the present moment. Chema, Chema. Take a deep, clearing breath, letting go of the meditation. Become aware again of your body sitting or lying where it is. Notice the sounds in your space surrounding you. Take another deep and clearing breath. Slowly begin to move your fingers and toes, your hands and arms, your feet and legs. Maybe take a little stretch, keeping your eyes closed. Then bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Happiness to all Earth's creatures. Om, peace, peace, peace. I invite you to slowly open your eyes. Take a moment to give gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice, knowing you can always replay this meditation. Do it again if you need to, whenever you need to. And namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me. Jai Mata Di. Blessings always. Have a wonderful night.